Hi gang, Rob here. It is the afternoon of 10 June 2025, coming to you this afternoon on a glorious 76 degree near summer afternoon in Northeast Indiana. We got some hazy sunshine from those Canadian wildfires, but other than that, it's warm, there's a breeze blowing, it's sunny, and we're looking at this. As old Ken Kaplan would say, feast your eyes on the class of 1997. Yeah. This is the 1997 Honda CBR1100 XX Super Blackbird. Welcome to today's ride and review of this fine motorcycle. And it indeed was the class of 1997. It was the world's fastest production motorcycle that year and the year that followed, supplanting the Kawasaki ZX-11 before the release of the Blackbird killer, the Hayabusa from Suzuki. But for 2 glorious years and several after that, the Honda Super Blackbird lived. Only 2 years wearing the crown of the world's fastest production motorcycle, but it became a legendary and iconic muscle sport cruiser after that. We're going to take a close look at it today. Might even hear it run, might even go for a ride. This is a review and ride video. So let's take a little walk around, shall we? Oh. If you notice, the bodywork on this motorcycle, a little unconventional. Stacked front headlights, skinny pointy nose, not a very wide fairing, just wide enough to divert the air from the rider, who is tucked and only tucked, trust me. The tail kind of resembles its namesake, doesn't it? Does Honda know how to sell motorcycles in America or what? Yeah, when they released it here, it got its name, its colloquial name, the Super Blackbird. Named after the United States aircraft SR-71 Blackbird, which of course, for many, many, many years, maybe decades, was the fastest airplane on Earth. Kind of a late 90s fat bottom girl. Not an exactly pointy tail, but you know, it's gorgeous the way it is. Exhaust, and it's wearing the factory exhaust, is a dual exhaust. Big old stainless steel integral B-pipe and silencer, one on each side. When I bought it a year ago, it wasn't wearing this exhaust. It came with a Two Brothers aluminum, which was it was sort of the hot setup for the mid-90s because it wasn't made of any kind of steel, whether it be coated or stainless. But I kind of preferred, the aluminum was looking a little shabby, and I was going to buy, maybe a Delcovic set of slip-ons for it. And I thought, I'm going to put the factory exhaust on and see how I like it. And guess what? I haven't bought anything in a year. I like these. It doesn't need to make noise. We'll talk about that later. If you notice, it's pretty trim from the driver's perspective. When you're going over 100 miles an hour, I can tell you, you get a lot of wind unless you are absolutely buried in the bubble. Mirrors are kind of cool for the period. Although they do have the, as Honda aficionados say, the condom mirror boot, which is kind of ugly. And as they get old, they don't fit as well as they used to, as mine exhibits. Turn signals in the mirrors. not much adjustability, and if you put risers on or higher bars like the helis mine is wearing, it's pretty hard to get the mirrors to point out far enough. In fact, mine are buried and they're not quite out far as much as I would like them to be. Instrumentation, pretty straightforward. Upper left is a fuel gauge, below that coolant temp. Just have a side stand light, a neutral light, oil pressure light, and a high beam indicator. Clock underneath that first cluster of lights, and then speedo in the middle, tack on the right side. Not exactly 2025 configuration. On a CBR, you would expect the tachometer to be in the center, but it's not. You'll notice mine is not wearing the stock seat. This is a Corbin product, and I'm not at all a huge fan of Corbin seats, but this is kind of iconic for the bike. It's called the Corbin Smuggler, and they sold 1 million of them in Europe. We don't see too many of them over here. And the previous owner of my motorcycle found that in England and bought it, and I guess it's worth a lot of money over there. But I kind of like it. It doubles as a solo cowl and a storage compartment. Pretty nice. Okay, we're suited up. Time to take the old bird for a ride. We'll kind of talk about it a little bit as we go. Not only some of the background history and specs of the bike, but how it is to ride. So let's fire it up. We'll head on out. Kind of a sticky day today. All dressed in black, riding black. If you see a droplet, it's my sweat. So here we go. On the Blackbird 97 CBR1100 XX Super Blackbird. So we've got 1137 cc's of relatively standard Honda inline 4 power plant. Liquid cooled. Per square bore and stroke. 11.5 to 1 compression. Makes 167 horsepower at, oh gosh, I think about 10,000 RPM. Red line's at 10.8 at 91 pound-feet of torque, down around 7,800 RPM, I think. Those don't sound like super impressive numbers for 2025. And frankly, the bike seems to perform better than its data sheet would indicate. It was designed specifically to dethrone the Kawasaki ZX1100, ZX11, which was formerly the fastest production motorcycle. Model years of 97 and 8. This motorcycle only to be dethroned itself by the venerable Suzuki Hayabusa 1300. The name Hayabusa means, you guessed it, peregrine falcon. Dietary list is the Blackbird. Very nice stroll from Suzuki. We'll talk about later in the video why I think this is a superior motorcycle. So ride it and enjoy it. Talk about ergonomics and comfort since I'm riding it. You gotta be a taller fella to ride this motorcycle. It's kind of a stretch from the seating position to the bars. This one is actually wearing some helis that are about a ½ inch higher than stock. but still, it's a long reach. The suspension is quite firm. I remember, as we talked about this bike, it was designed to go 200 miles an hour. Their goal was actually 190. So everything about it is done for high-speed ergonomics, high-speed wind performance, aerodynamics, and stability at speed. Get a suspension that's going to be vastly firmer than a standard sport touring machine in this size class. It's not a sport tourer. Motorcycle made to go 190 miles an hour. So if the bodywork looks a little strange to you, if it looks a little minimalist in its construction, they had other things on their mind. Maybe surprisingly free of adjustment. You get old school adjustability, right? Nothing on the front. Just preload and rebound damping on the rear. They kind of didn't want you messing with it. So how is it to ride? Talk about what it does well. What it does well is accelerate very briskly and go very fast. Now it is about 560 pounds wet, and it's got a fairly long wheelbase, but not much rake, so it's kind of a paradox when it comes to turning. The initial tip-in is very quick because of the just 25 degrees of rake. But once you get it tipped in, it's kind of looking back at you going, okay, what do you want me to do now that you tipped me over? It's not a bike that you think through a corner. It's a bike you have to drive through a corner, sometimes with a pretty heavy hand. Kind of reminds me of my old Super Hawk in that regard. It wants to go, and it wants to go quickly, a little loose gravel on the chip and seal there. But it wants you to tell it what to do. It needs a firm hand. Sort of learned that about it. Kind of a joy to ride. One thing about that, one thing that it does well, the acceleration part, you will find buy one. Now these are now 25 years old plus. Got a factory saddle. It's going to be shiny and slick. Good luck launching the bike with that factory seat. You will slide right off the back of it. This is a 10 flat quarter-mile motorcycle, and it pulls like a freight train. Smuggler seat that I've got on it with a very pronounced back bolster is the right tool for the job. You notice on the Kawasaki H2, that seat is all about the back bolster because of acceleration. My favorite semi-twisty roads in my neighborhood. Bike just loves it, Tighter technical, just some nice sweepers.
going a little too fast for good audio. Hard to tell. Be interested, this is the first time in at-speed motorcycle video with my current audio setup, which is the voice recorder on an iPhone, being used with my Cardo. GoPro and the Cardo did not work and play well together well at all. I'll be very interested to see how the old iPhone software works. Hey, thanks guys for telling me I had a turn signal on, by the way. Or not telling me. I'm a blinker wanker from way back. Going over some uneven pavement right now, and frankly, it doesn't make this bike happy. You will pay for bumps in the road on this bike. Not only is the suspension very firm, but the Corbin saddle, although very well paired to the motorcycle, is hard because it says Corbin on it. But even though it transmits bumps quite effectively through the human spine, it doesn't upset the bike as you go over. It just stays firm, planted, and solid, as it does most of its life. I was yapping and forgot to brake for that stop sign. Come up on a little S-curve complex here. See if I can show you what I was talking about. How it corners. Remember, you got 560 pounds of motorcycle. This one might be heavier because I think the Corbin saddle is heavier than the factory saddle. The railroad track moved more than the bike. Here we go. I got a little tentative on entry, and it shook its head at me a little bit like, hey, buddy, I need some instruction. That's because I rode the 90 VFR all day yesterday, and it's a different motorcycle. I have to get used to what the bird wants from me today. Coming into the little burg of a villa, it's going to want me to go 20 in just a second. Hey, while we're idling through a villa, go over a couple other things. Let's talk about instrumentation. It's very crisp and clean, very beautifully 90s Honda. However, everything's a little small. Frankly, you got to memorize where the marks are on the speedometer. Because at over 100, you can't read it. But good instrumentation, clock, temperature gauge, fuel gauge, speedometer in the middle, wrong place for a sport bike. You guys know that. But and then I've got directional indicator lights, high beam light, side stand light, and neutral light, oil pressure light. Mirrors are the 90s Honda condom variety, but they're nice mirrors. Turn signals in the mirrors, so you're not adding more aerodynamic drag with extra turn signals. I am running the factory exhaust on this bike. I don't know if it's coming through the audio or not, but it's got enough throaty rumble to let you know that 1137cc inline 4 means business, but at speed you don't hear it. And it probably makes the most low-end torque if you just leave the factory exhaust on it. I might have mentioned previously, I have a Two Brothers aluminum, which was the hot setup in the 90s. That's what it was, factory exhaust in boxes. And the old aluminum was so ugly, I just put the factory exhaust back on, and I really prefer riding with the stock setup. I find the peg position on this bike to be quite comfortable. It actually came with some peg lowering adapters when I got it, and they also spaced the pegs out from the perch a little bit. Think of a wiggly socket extension, right? Kind of like that setup. So I took those out and just put the pegs back in their normal spot. I really like the foot position. If I'm feeling particularly arthritic at almost 60 years of age one morning, I might not like it so much, but today it's a hot day. I've been outside working a little bit, so my joints are lubricated. Feels great. Get on the 4-lane here. Might go fast and stop talking. Traffic looks like up here. "75 miles an hour to 60 here." What I'm going to do when I get out of this construction zone, 5. You guys will. There's 3rd. We're going to light this match at 5 miles an hour, just below 5,000 RPM. Ready? Yeah. Going 130 when I bailed, and it didn't take long. It's extremely quick, and a lot safer to do that. 5-mile-an-hour roll on. Just trying to launch this beast. Frankly, it's a little scary coming out of a hole. Try to find a flat-ish piece of road. I think I know one. 02 run on the Blackbird. Catch a red light up here. I don't know, I didn't look. What is that, about 10 or 12 miles so far? How you doing? Well, I'm just nicely settled in. I'm relaxed everywhere. Hands are relaxed. Back is relaxed. Back bolster there is. You in a seating position a little closer to the tank. Stock seat. At age 60, you're going to be nestled in between the back bolster and the tank. You will definitely want tank protection on this motorcycle. Now, granted, I've been mostly at speed since we took off. It's 90 degrees and humid. Take a look at that temp gauge. It's a Honda. Even though it was the highest performing top speed motorcycle of its day. Check out the old T. Yeah. It runs like a Honda. I smell oil. I smell rubber. That. It's a dart. It's not going to catch its breath. Something different. Why is that set up as a four-wheel stop today? See, I could have caught that. Doggone it. I think I know where we can do that. Talk about fueling while we're at it. Honda had so perfected inline four-cylinder engine by the mid-90s that if it weren't for long-term maintenance issues of the four carburetors, like rebuilds and synchronization, I would never want a fuel-injected bike. The fueling is so butter smooth on this motorcycle. You would think there would be sacrifices made to get to 187 miles an hour, which was, I think, the top recorded top speed for this motorcycle. Oh, that's why we got a ride later. But it's so docile. It's not like cammy and doesn't want to run at low RPMs. It's just so good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little space behind me, and then we're just going to stop and launch. That might have been a little extreme. They have them back there though. Block all the other traffic. So comfortable for a heavy, stiff motorcycle. Got a good spot here. Ready? Let's go. And there's 110. Yeah. Here's what I will tell you. Slow down to a same speed here. What I will tell you is this. Know a bike like this very well where you can actually launch it in first gear and bend the throttle. It's absolutely scary until you know what it's going to do, because it pulls so hard and the rate of acceleration feels exponential. You don't know when it's going to stop. But the reality is it'll stop when you click it up into second gear. Then it'll become more manageable. I think I'm going to run out of audio, so I'm going to have to stop and reload. Hope we can get some good footage out of this. I'm going to try to take it easy a little bit on the way home so I don't have as much wind in the audio. See, I was stopped and running there. The temp gauge climbed a little bit, but watch how quickly it comes back down. Hey guys, sorry if my gear changes seem a little awkward today. Again, it's because muscle memory of 225 miles on the 90 VFR yesterday. It's making me a little twitchy on the Blackbird. It's really a good thing. Nice last curve here. 2-year-old chip and seal. It's about the freshest you want to time at full lean on. Talk about brakes a little bit. This bike is 50 pounds heavier than my 2000 VFR. It has the exact same brake system. Same rotors, calipers, same linked braking system. And that 50 pounds is significant. This bike does not stop nearly as quickly with as much feel as that 2000 VFR. Some reviewers have called these brakes borderline dangerous. I don't agree with that. Might not be up to MotoGP standards, but it's not what the bike was made for. I did take it last November, just a few months, down to our usual spot in the Smokies, because I just wanted to spend some time alone with it, get to know it, which I did. And once I got used to the brakes, I never thought about them again. Now, I wasn't riding 9/10, but spirited watch there. Not a bad day for a motorcycle ride. So let's talk about its rival, the Hayabusa. So the Hayabusa has a faster top speed by a little. And then they went to the gentleman's agreement. What was it, 186, 187? It makes more power. I don't think the Busa handles as well. It does stop better. I don't think it stops nearly as well. or handles nearly as well. It doesn't stop quick. There's one thing that the Hayabusa has against it, heavy luggage that it carries. Kind of like the Dodge Chargers and Dodge Challengers. If you're going to own one of those, just know that people are going to look at you like you're a freaking moron because you're a Dodge. Well, it's the same thing if you own a Busa. Really want to pull up to Bikes and Coffee or Taco Tuesday bike night on a Busa. People are going to be hiding from you before you can get your helmet on. Blackbird, and they're like, I've heard about those, but I've never seen tacos, let me tell you. Alright. Always be on the back brake in gravel, guys, if you don't know that. No front brake. So, you know, would I buy a Hayabusa? No. Did I buy a Blackbird? Yeah. Did I dream about buying a Blackbird? Yeah. Am I thrilled that I bought a Blackbird? Yeah. Over here for a second. Ah. We'll take the phone out of the cradle because it's recording my audio. So we'll just sit and gaze upon her for a few minutes as we wrap up the video. I need some air. There we go. Sorry, she's a little dirty today, guys. I was on a veterans ride yesterday with my buddy Russ, and I didn't have this bike with me, but he was telling one of his other buddies about it. He said it looks fast even when it's standing still. I'll buy that. Yeah. 28 years old. A sight to behold. Do I love it? Am I glad I met my hero? You bet I am. I enjoy riding this motorcycle a lot. Wouldn't want it to be my only motorcycle, but I enjoy it a lot. So if you have been reading about these and you're considering, should I go try to find one? Yeah, you should. And the good news is they were owned generally by very responsible owners. So finding ones that are in good repair is a pretty easy proposition. Just have to come together on price. They're not super valuable either. I think this one had 29,000 miles on it when I bought it a year ago. I think I gave $4,200 for it, and it came with 2 exhausts. It came with the Corbin smuggler seat. It had pretty nice Pirelli Angel GTs on it that were maybe 25% worn. So yeah, I thought that was just fine. And I have enjoyed it. So there's my review of the 1997 Honda CBR Super Blackbird and ride. I hope this is helpful to you if you're considering one of these fine motorcycles. That's all for this one. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. Talk to you soon.